Could you survive on welfare? It's a question that's divided the nation.
The rising cost of living is leaving the unemployed in dire straits.
People living on job seeker need a greater level of support.
People are unable to cover basic costs of living such as housing, food, transport, healthcare and utilities.
But increasing welfare would cost taxpayers billions.
The best form of welfare is a job, Mr Speaker.
It's easy to get by on welfare. You're fucking joking, mate.
3 prominent Australians are on a journey into Australia's welfare system. New South Wales Greens MP Jenny Leong believes we should be doing more for the disadvantaged.
To have to not be able to provide them with food when they're hungry, to not get them the medication they need when they're sick, that is a whole nother level. Conservative
journalist Caleb Bond has had his hardline stance on welfare challenged.
This is how we have to live.
I'm conflicted at the moment, which is, I think it's good. It's making me think about it. It's what I came here to do.
Julie Goodwin has been seeing firsthand the reality of life on welfare in Western Sydney.
The carer's allowance are not enough for the 2 of you to live on.
It's not even close.
All they've got to look forward to is living on welfare and debt and stress.
After experiencing life on the welfare system, this time they'll be getting into the workforce.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Suck it up, princess.
To see how hard it is to survive on a low income.
You don't want to be lonely and old.
I'm stressed, I think.
Not even halfway there.
If I couldn't have drawn some money off my mortgage, this would be my story.
If cash is this tight, I'm pretty much happy to do anything.
Is it as simple as just getting a job?
Probably say, oh, go and get a job, but the jobs just aren't down here.
For all 3, the experience will be confronting. But will it change their views?
I'd rather break my back trying to earn my own way than sitting there taking someone else's money.
For the past 6 days, Caleb, Jenny and Julie have been seeing what it's like to survive on welfare.
She's proven that it is possible to raise a family on welfare. She does it. But how sustainable is that?
She's given over her life as well to care for the man that she loves, you know. That's a massive sacrifice.
We need to fucking get you out of this situation and we need to make sure that Bubba is all right.
But now it's time to try and get off welfare and into the workforce.
Get off welfare and get into work. That is the best form of support any Australian government can provide to the Australian people.
But first, you have to find a job. In southwest Sydney, Julie Goodwin is up and ready to head out looking for work. Women over the age of 50 fall into the hardest category for finding employment.
Having a job is so much more than just putting food on the table. It's something to get out of bed for, something to look forward to, even something to complain about. And to not have that, that's not good. It's not good for anybody at all.
In parts of Campbelltown, the unemployment rate is almost twice the national average.
I haven't gone door knocking for a job since I was 14 years old, so I imagine that things have changed a little bit. My first job was a retail assistant in a Noni Bee store in Northgate, Hornsby. I just went from door to door asking for a job, and I was 14 years and 9 months. I think that was the legal date back then that you could go and get a job.
So using the same approach, Julie decides to hit the pavement.
The idea of just fronting up and cold calling a business and asking for work is a little bit nerve-wracking. Certainly not seeing very many position vacant signs on the windows. There's obviously no point in me walking into a hairdresser and asking for a job. There are nail salons. I also am unqualified to do that. Good afternoon. I'm very well, thank you. I was wondering if you would have any positions vacant if I was looking for work.
Not at the moment.
Not at the moment.
Very family run at the moment.
Okay, so it's family business. Are you family?
Yeah, Dad.
Dad, son,
Brother.
and another brother.
Yeah,
okay.
brother's still working.
So I've got to bust into the family.
That's it, somehow.
Will you marry me?
Opposite us, the fruit shop's always looking for work.
Oh, are they?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, you want a job?
Yeah.
Yeah, you worked before?
Not in a fruit shop, but
No, but I'm looking for someone experienced.
with experience in this kind of...
Fruit shop and the Arabic stuff.
In Arabic stuff as well, okay. My philosophy when I'm employing people has always been that you hire for attitude and you train for the job. But some businesses, they're on the ground running, they need people to be experienced. And the only way to get experience is to get experience. Hello there, I am well, thank you. How are you?
Thank you.
I was wondering if you would have any jobs available in your shop.
No.
No? He said, that's another family business. And he said, I'm sorry, that's who I'm taking care of. If you're on welfare, get a job. It sounds so straightforward. There's nothing straightforward about this.
When one does not have a bathroom mirror, or a sink for that matter, one does one's teeth brushing in the kitchen sink.
In Surrey Hills, Caleb's been living in a squalid one-bedroom flat. Rent is $40 a day, so he needs to find work to cover that and all his other expenses.
I suppose what I have to now do is put myself in the shoes of someone who is on job seeker, who is coming from very little, and is trying to get out of the welfare system.
For many Australians, moving off welfare and into work can mean having to work multiple low-paying jobs. Caleb's starting out with food delivery riding.
Delivery driving is hardly the most glamorous job in the world. It's generally migrants who do this kind of work. I think most working to middle-class Australians would see food delivery or cleaning as below them.
Most food delivery drivers and riders in Australia work as contractors. They have no minimum wage, no sick pay, and no work cover. In a 6-week period at the end of 2020, 5 were killed while working on the streets of Sydney. To show Caleb the ropes, Mohammed will be his guide through the first few deliveries.
Gentlemen, Caleb.
How are you, Caleb?
Nice to meet you, Mohammed.
Yes.
Mohammed has been working as a delivery rider for the past 3 years.
What's it like?
You have to be very patient all day on the roads.
Patient with cars or...?
Everything.
What's the money like?
Depends on what time you are working and how many hours you are working. With Uber, it pays $4, which is the least. Deliveroo pays around $6 to $8 for that.
Per delivery?
Per delivery, $6 to $8. If you were to work 20 hours a week, you would be able to earn around $150 to $200.
I feel a bit trepidatious about doing the delivery, to be honest, at the moment. Show me how this stuff works.
When you go online here, see?
This kind of delivery is reasonably repetitious. You pick up food from one place and take it to another. Sorry, doing a job like this is reasonably dangerous, I would have thought. I've got enough money to eat, but I haven't got enough money to cover anything else. So, suck it up, princess.
With a bike and a phone, anyone can start working as a food delivery rider, with no training and no special licence.
I guess this is not my typical line of work, so I'm under no illusions about the fact that I'm probably not going to enjoy it. Thank you.
Deliver, right?
So I've got to go that way?
That way.
That way?
Yeah.
But, you know, work is work, money is money. I go hungry if I don't get money. Oh, well, that's a good start. Sorry, this is my first time.
Ah.
First trip done. Well, I suppose I'm a bit exhilarated now that I've had to dice it with the Sydney traffic on a bike. So I'm sort of on the go a bit. But I'm otherwise okay. There's no fucking dry gullies on these roads, I'll tell you what. Fucking wet with traffic. Oh.
For a delivery rider to get close to Australia's minimum wage of just over $20 an hour, they'll need to complete multiple jobs each hour.
Hand it over or just leave it here?
You can leave it there.
No worries, thank you very much. That trip was worth $8.11 to me, so I am now sitting at $15.96 worth of earnings for about an hour's work. Look, my first impression, I feel pretty vulnerable on the road. I'm very stressed. Thank you very much. See ya. Thanks for waiting. I am on edge. I'm on edge.
Four hours into his shift, and Caleb has made 6 deliveries.
Just hit $30.33 in earnings. Oh, I'm here in one piece. Oh, man, my heart is going. Oh, it's hard work. Like, fuck. Dicing in and out of traffic and like I'm cooked. I'm mentally exhausted as well as physically. Adrenaline keeps you going, but it's pretty exhausting.
In the Illawarra, south of Sydney, Jenny has been trying to live on the job seeker allowance for the past 6 days.
A few dead cockroaches in the front room.
Now she's going to try to get off welfare and into a paying job. But currently, she's having trouble just feeding herself.
I've got one banana that is looking a bit worse for wear, but should be all right in the fridge. But I actually have white bread and I have the leftover chocolate, so I've decided I'm going to eat bread and chocolate and banana for breakfast. And then I've got baked beans for dinner if I get no money, and pizza shapes for lunch.
When living on welfare or a low income, even simple tasks like washing and drying clothes becomes difficult.
Checked out the laundry last night and it's just a laundry trough. There's no washing machine. So I rinsed some stuff out in the kitchen sink. They're still not dry. Do I want to go to the laundromat and spend that money on washing my clothes? Alternatively, I could just wear some crusty clothes, be a bit stinky and deal with it. Nah, so it says a wash, dry and fold, surely that's not right, per load is $22. And then it says a half a load, which is what I'd have because I don't have lots of clothes with me, $15. Even the drying is $13, I think, which is more than what I've got for each day when I've got money. I've got no money, so I'm going to walk down the street and see what it's like to actually go job hunting to see if I can get any casual work to get a bit of cash.
Jenny's targeting the businesses on the main street of Port Kembla.
I can use a coffee machine. I haven't done retail, but I reckon, if someone showed me how to use the machine, I would probably be all right. If cash is this tight, I'm pretty much happy to do anything.
JobSeeker is meant to help support people finding work. But getting by on the amount is a challenge in itself, let alone the stress of looking for a job. Jenny's about to learn firsthand how hard it is.
We all know that when you're looking for work, it's not easy. You need to be able to get to and from interviews. You need to be able to have access to a computer or internet to be able to apply for jobs. You need to be able to have decent clothes so that you can actually rock up to a job interview if you get one. Now, a lot of people that are in these scenarios that are looking for work don't have any of those supports or any of those things. And by keeping those people
in poverty while they're trying to look for work so that they are unable to attain any of those things or get that support is hugely problematic.
Hello. Hi, how you going? Hey, how are you? Good, thanks, how are you? Yeah, good, thank you. My name's Jenny. I actually am just wondering if you guys have got any casual work going at the moment.
You come from like hospitality or?
Yeah, like a long time ago, but I can use a coffee machine and make coffees.
Yep.
And I've worked in lots of restaurants and bars and stuff.
Any food experience?
No, I don't have food prep experience, no.
So at this stage, we're looking for like food cooks, chefs.
All right, I appreciate your help. Thank you. Thanks a lot. See you later. Bye-bye. Bye. I've certainly gone into places in the past when I first moved to Sydney and had to just go cold into cafes and shops to ask if they've got any work. So I've done that before, but I haven't done it in a very long time, and you forget how uncomfortable you feel and how demoralising you feel. Hello, good, how are you? Yeah, it feels uncomfortable to just get rejected. You want to say, oh, but what if I just did this or what if I just did that? But, you know, it takes a lot of courage to do that. Appreciate your help. Cheers, see ya, bye-bye.
After an unsuccessful morning, the last shop open is The Florist, owned and operated by Renee.
And so we don't have the work and we don't have the money, and there's not the government funding to be able to allow us to employ anybody.
Yeah.
We've got an apprentice, and that's all we can afford to have at this point in time.
Yeah. I'll leave you. I don't want to interrupt your business. You've got important work to do.
This is Pete. This is my apprentice.
Oh, hello, Pete. How are you? Lovely to meet you. I'm Jenny. How are you doing?
Pete worked his whole adult life, but when COVID hit, he lost his job and was forced to retrain.
I'm a 55-year-old male.
Yeah.
I have 3 trades.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get a cash job now. I'm a chef by trade.
Yeah.
That is one of the best industries to grab cash.
So yeah, this is what I was trying to rely on because I can make coffee, but you reckon that's like...
at all.
Australians over 50 will spend twice as long looking for work than younger Australians.
I've heard people say that before, just get off your ass and get a job. And 20 years ago, that was the case. It was perfectly fine. You could go to Woolies, you could go to Coles, you could get a job working night fill, not a problem in the world. You try and get that now. It's impossible. Those jobs, they're gone, or they're given to the young kids now.
Because of our age bracket, we are so unemployable.
Yeah.
The government wants to give everyone else a hand up. I've got to prove that I'm valuable.
Yeah, yeah.
That sucks.
Totally, totally.
Having reinvented himself as a florist, Pete now considers himself one of the lucky ones.
I feel amazing. I feel proud. But where we work, there's a man's hostel upstairs, and I see these blokes. I thought, shit, you don't want to be lonely and old and have addictions and everything like that. I think, how did I get lucky? I feel humbled.
That's tough. That's tough. Because the whole model is set up that it's like you work and you get a job and then you earn your money and then you're not in poverty anymore. Well, that is not how it's working. That's broken.
One quarter of Australians under the age of 30 need to work multiple jobs just to survive. After high school, Caleb moved straight into a cadetship and then a job as a journalist, so he's never had to work multiple jobs.
Growing up was pretty normal. Parents went to work, Dad was a gardener, Mum worked in retail. We never struggled, and that was something I'm very grateful for, obviously.
On his second day of working for low pay, reality is hitting home.
Well, I mean, having done the Deliveroo stuff last night, it's pretty lowly paid. They're not meeting minimum wage, basically. $26.30 after paying my rent. I think my quality of life is better working. You know, once I've paid for my rent, I had in my hand yesterday more than double what I had the day before.
Before Caleb heads back out for the dinner shift on the bike, he's found a second job as a cleaner.
I don't think it's unfair to expect people to make their own way or to at least put in some effort. You know, not everyone is going to succeed. That is a fact of life. But the effort is the main thing, I think.
His cleaning partner for the day and fellow contractor is Jorge.
Do you want me to sit in the front or the back?
Yeah, sit up here.
38-year-old Jorge is trying to get off JobSeeker after losing his job at the height of the pandemic.
What did you do for work previously?
So I was a car detailer for Toyota.
Yep.
And so I got redundant, about 5 of us or so got redundant from there. It was a shock. Yeah, this is my mum's car. But after I got redundant and all that stuff, I had to sell it, pay rent.
Jorge and Caleb only have 2 hours to clean a 4-bedroom house from top to bottom.
The dust all up there, take all that off.
Yeah.
All this bench stuff needs to be done. Toilet, you need to get right in the back there. Rubbish needs to be emptied here. Skirting boards along the stairs, mirrors, nice and clean. It's about 10-15 minutes maximum on each room. 2 hours isn't much.
For completing the job, they'll receive $42 each.
OK, let's get stuck into it. Glove up, let's go. Time is money.
To be competitive and cost-effective, Caleb and Jorge need to work at breakneck speeds.
You finished there yet?
No. You've got to achieve a lot in 2 hours.
Little spots.
And it's a lot of pressure because you're only getting paid for that 2 hours. There's no overtime.
Okay. We're done?
Yep.
All right, get you come in here. So all these need to come off, wash them up.
Yep.
All right in the corners in there. So not only you got to be quick, but it's got to be done right as well. If you miss a couple of parts, you won't get the job back. Every job is important.
I suppose the sustainability of this kind of work really depends on your fortitude.
So when you need to finish up in here, we've spent too much time.
A lot of people would struggle with it, and a lot of people would probably weirdly thrive off it.
I'll get you to start on this toilet.
Yep.
So get the brush, get on the insides.
But it would obviously grind you down if you were working for $21 an hour, day in, day out.
In Port Kembla, Jenny has spent the morning door-knocking businesses, looking for work.
A piece of white bread and a couple of pieces of chocolate for breakfast. I've got some leftover sausages from last night, so maybe I could eat that. But yeah, it's not looking pretty good.
After scouring the local area, Jenny's managed to get a trial shift at a caravan park as a kitchen hand with Chef John.
Hello, how you going? I'm Jenny.
Oh, sorry, I'm Nick.
No problems, Nick. I won't distract you. You're in the middle of a thing. Those people out there look hungry.
The average wage for a kitchen hand is $19.54 an hour.
And this is the kitchen?
This is the kitchen.
John only works 2 shifts a week, earning him $375, which is not much more than he'd receive on JobSeeker.
I'll prep if I've got time during the day.
Yep, yep.
But if I don't have time, I can't.
Yeah.
I do what I can do.
Yeah.
Not being able to secure enough work hours means many Australians feel like they're better off on welfare.
You responsible for doing all the ordering, or someone else is doing that?
Somebody else does the ordering.
Yeah.
I just let them know what we needed.
Are you worried about my hair, or you're all right? Okay.
You're all good.
Okay. There. Thank you.
So 2 cups of self-raising flour from this bucket into this bowl.
Yeah.
Through the sieve.
Yeah.
About 1/4 of one of sugar, and that'll make the dry mix for pancakes.
That's good.
Yep. I'm just gonna make a well in the centre.
Yeah. I didn't think I was that hungry, and I didn't think I was that craving of some quality food, but now I'm standing in a kitchen, so I am feeling very hungry.
Yep, now we just give it a good whisk.
Good. You know, there might be stresses about my current job, but there's certainly stresses about having to serve customers.
2 big breakfasts.
You've got a smashed avo as well. Are you on that?
No, I'm on that. There's no more hash browns.
That is a good bacon and egg roll.
My biggest worry is getting through life week to week and knowing that I've done my best, but I've got to, always come up with that extra money.
After falling on hard times, the park was more than just a workplace for John and his daughter Isabel.
We ended up living here for 8 months.
Yeah.
In a caravan. We were paying $200 a week.
Yeah.
Which is very good.
Yeah, yeah. She was going to school every day from here?
She was. But you have to get up and you have to keep going.
Yeah.
You can't let that get you down. It's only temporary. And at the end of the day, it might have been 8 months.
Yeah.
But 8 months in a caravan park to 8 months on the streets.
Yeah.
No comparison.
John's combined work and welfare payments total $46 a day after rent. That's for him and his daughter to live on.
For the family tax benefit A and B that I get,
yeah.
$300 a fortnight
yeah.
to raise a kid.
Yeah.
With food, clothing, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Just isn't viable.
Being a single parent on a limited income means simple things like school uniforms stretch the budget.
So Isabel's uniform was $129 just for the one she had on today.
Yeah.
That's one uniform. She needs at least 3 in total.
Totally.
And yeah, it's just, I don't have the money. She needs a laptop, can't afford that. So the school does supply and let them use theirs. But when she gets homework for home, she can't do it.
And so what does that mean in terms of her studies? She's at a setback already before she's even started high school.
Yep. It makes me angry and annoyed, but what can I do, to be honest? Like, I've just got to look at it as, well, something that I've got to work towards.
Yeah.
So if I can pick up an extra hour at work or something,
yeah.
I'm in the situation. At the end of the day, I've got to get myself out of the situation as best I can. I give up anything and everything I can for Isabel, to give Isabel what she needs.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's hard, but we can only do what we can do in life.
Yeah.
Australian children living in poverty are 3 times more likely to suffer adult poverty.
I obviously care about how John's going, but I really worry about Isabel. She is basically suffering discrimination because of the income status of her family.
She wanted to be a vet.
Amazing.
But as I said to her, to be a vet, you got to go to university.
Totally.
I don't want to be a vet anymore. I think she'd be better off with childcare. It would be easier for her in the long run.
He's contributing, he wants to be working, but he's still not earning enough to be able to get by. He's saying that if there was something in the order of $50 extra, that'd make the difference for him to be able to save some money.
There are over 2 million small businesses operating in Australia. But with 1 in 3 failing in their first year, being a business owner can leave you living on the breadline. Julie owns and runs a cooking school, so understands the stress of running a small business.
I know that rush that you get when you've created a space that's beautiful and where people love to come. I know how uplifting it is.
Into day 2 on the job hunt, she's decided to try and use her cooking skills and target cafes.
Hello. Hi, I'm Julie.
Hoping to find a position vacant, Julie comes across cafe owner Sonia.
So this is your cafe?
Yeah.
Yeah?
We don't own the building, but everything else, yeah.
In 2019, Sonia won Campbelltown Business Person of the Year.
I took over 1st of July 2016 from the original owner. She did a great job setting it up. But
yeah, it's beautiful.
We took it to a whole other level.
In 2020, the COVID pandemic hit and forced cafes and restaurants to close and only provide takeaway meals.
I closed down 2 days before the government said that we were only allowed to do takeaway. Sorry.
Don't apologise, mate.
My break-even point was $750 a day, which is massive.
Yeah.
And I locked the doors. Like, we closed early. I closed at about 11 o'clock on the Wednesday because I just couldn't be in here with no people around. Everybody had already started working from home.
Yep.
Just gone overnight. Yep. The walls were all done. Like, this was all decorated for me. And that's one of
The loss of income isn't the only issue for Sonia. She also has an outstanding $100,000 business loan.
So you can imagine the tables just set up through here with and then out the front we had the full use of the courtyard here.
The idea of opening again is too much for Sonia. So she now works 4 jobs, which barely covers her business loan, rent and living costs.
I work during the day for Pheasant's Nest Produce, so I deliver fruit and veggies with them.
Yep.
I work night times at Club Menangle. I'm a chef out there on the Saturday nights.
Okay.
I work at the beer shed whenever they've got big events on.
Is this 7-day-a-week style stuff we're talking?
I work eight days a week.
8 days a week, yeah.
30 hours a day. Yep.
Yeah. And how does that see you once you've, made your debt payments?
I'm not saving. I'm never going to be out of debt for, the loan on this place, the business has got 25 years to go on it. So,
ever any thought about filing for bankruptcy?
Every day. Yeah.
Every day.
That I wish I could just walk away, but the loan's secure against my dad's house as well, so it doesn't help. I can't walk away. I can go bankrupt, but it'll only be for the rent.
Temperamental. Sonia put her heart and soul into this cafe, and it didn't pay off. Literally, if I couldn't have drawn some money off my mortgage to take advantage of that JobKeeper scheme, this would be my story. I still have a fit-out loan that I would have to somehow service if I had shut my doors. I believe you when you say that this isn't it and that you're going to have another go at this somewhere down the track.
Eventually.
We'll be here. I can feel the dream that she had. I can feel the excitement that she had setting this place up. Her heartbreak is so palpable.
In Sydney, Caleb is working multiple jobs to try to earn enough money to live. He's uncertain what he'll make later on with Deliveroo, so he's counting on the $42 from his cleaning shift.
You asked me before, is this worth it? Not much of a choice, is there?
It's worth it insofar as it means you got money, but it's not like it's a stellar option, is it?
No.
Jorge has 3 children. After losing his job during COVID, he started working as a cleaner.
This was the only job I could find. So no, I got no choice.
How does that feel?
Trying to be the man of the house. You're not much of a man anymore. Doesn't make you feel like a man. But it's not just about, feeling like a man. It's taking your wallet out to buy something for the kids. Dad, I want ice cream. Sorry. Makes you feel bad.
Jorge and Caleb won't get paid any overtime, so they'll need to finish the job in 2 hours, or they'll be working for free.
How you feeling?
I'm pretty tired.
Yeah?
Oh, I'm stressed, I think, more than anything
Stressed?
else. Yeah.
Feeling a bit hot?
Yeah.
Sweaty?
Yeah.
Well, we're only not even halfway there.
He does this on a daily basis. So, if I were doing this all the time, I would be pretty fucking stressed.
Having to work multiple jobs just to get by might not be as simple as Caleb first thought.
Certainly not worth the money at the moment, and I don't think I could sustainably do it on a regular basis. I feel close to crying, but I'm trying my best.
How you going there?
Not as fast as I would like. Man, I don't know how you do this.
and Jorge managed to finish the job in just over 2 hours.
It's not easy, is it? People think cleaning is just cleaning, but it's hard work. We're sweating our bums off here.
How long do you reckon you can keep doing this for?
Well, I'm not on the streets yet. So if I can just manage to pay the bills, my rent, chip in for the shopping and petrol on the card so I can get to another job.
Yeah.
Anything less than this. If I didn't have this job cleaning houses, I couldn't imagine.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. I couldn't tell you.
You'd be in trouble.
I'd be in big trouble.
I would feel, I suppose, halfway useless if cleaning was the only option I had for work.
Alrighty. So that's yours. Oh, you kind of deserved it.
Thank you.
It's not much, but hey, it's something.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Experiencing for himself what Jorge has to do to get by, Caleb has plenty to think about.
Happiness and acceptance are two different things. I can accept that Jorge is in the position he is in. It doesn't mean I'm happy about that. Would I like to change that? Of course I'd like to change that. But how do you feasibly change it? It's at some point you've got to think about practicalities. On a peripheral level, you can understand that, and hence why some people would prefer to take the welfare option. But, fuck, what are you achieving by sitting around on welfare?
Over 3 days on the job hunt, Julie's only managed to score 2 low-paying shifts. 1 letterboxing pamphlets, and another as hired help delivering furniture.
It's just hard. This is a long day.
She decides to call it a day and head back to her emergency accommodation.
Today's been quite sad. There's definitely a lack of opportunities. What it's taking away from people is the opportunity to do more, to be more, to have a quality of life that many of us enjoy.
It's her last night, and Julie makes do with what food she has left over.
This is dinner number 3 out of the barbecued chicken with some rice, and I'm running very low on greens. The idea of one barbie chook lasting for 3 nights is foreign. Maybe some rice for breakfast. If you're factoring in rent, cars, tolls, clothing, all the things that you need in a household, there is absolutely no way on earth that money covers it.
The struggle for the people she's met has made a lasting impact.
Thought I had plenty of understanding, but I guess I just didn't. I didn't. And I'm grateful to every person who let me into their lives, told me their stories, were really open. I think there's motivation to get off job seeker, even if you've got to work 7 days a week to do it. I know that when I was cleaning houses, waitressing, taking in ironing, singing at weddings, clowning at kids' parties, I was working 7 days a week, and that was not my life goal. I just had to keep going until I reached a point, and my family reached a point, where I could back off that a little bit, Yeah, nobody's sitting around going, woohoo, job seeker, I have made it. It's not happening.
In Port Kembla, Jenny has been seeing firsthand the challenges of trying to live on low wages with few hours. Jenny is down to the last of the food she managed to put aside earlier in the week.
If I was in this situation and I had no prospect of getting out of it, I'd be really stressing at this point.
The steel works in Port Kembla once employed 22,000 workers. That workforce is now just 4,500. It's left locals out of work and having to rely on charity to get by.
You can apparently go here and get a meal. So I thought that that would be a good thing to check out. Hello, hello. Hey, I'm Jenny. How you going?
Hey, Jenny. Nice to meet you.
Hey.
Emmanuel.
Hi, Emmanuel. Lovely to meet you. Hi, Jenny. Hey, George. Really good to meet you. How you doing? Good, good. I heard you guys give people food on a Friday night. Is that right?
Every Friday, we usually open this facility for people to come and see it.
Yeah.
Have some social interaction.
Great.
Have some free dinner.
We have to cater, and we have to get so many people in the shop.
Yeah.
So, but usually we have enough food. We've never run out of food.
Yeah.
Jenny's decided to volunteer for a shift serving other patrons.
Yeah, because if there's no something like this, people will struggle a bit more. Because whenever people come here, they save something for tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I don't think what people get from the government is really enough. I come from a refugee background.
Yeah.
I came here as a refugee and I was unsettling for a long time.
Yes.
And yeah, you get $550 per fortnight. So you have to pay your rent, your bills and everything.
Yeah.
And just like you're like, when am I gonna get out of this?
Grapes, butler, yeah.
Amazing. Bananas, peaches, pears, mango.
Port Kembla is a place where mostly broken people live.
The current rate of unemployment benefit is too low to have any sort of life. I have one boy that's still at high school, and it's fairly costly to keep him at high school. And the rents are so expensive, like my rental takes nearly all of my money.
Now bread, rolls.
Probably say, "Oh, go and get a job," but the jobs just aren't down here this way in the Illawarra. So you've really got no choice but to, you know, have unemployment benefit as your only source of income. Yeah, I'll have some nectarines if you have any.
There's a couple of nectarines there. Thank you so much.
People that are working think that there's jobs, like it might be like the 70s or 80s where there's a lot of jobs, but that's not the case now. There's just not enough jobs.
Having people in the community coming here to help out and volunteer and having other organizations getting on board by giving us what we need to be able to support the people is so fulfilling.
We appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
And seeing what we do. And we know that you've survived all day on a banana today, so it's our pleasure to give you a free meal.
Amazing, thank you. I appreciate these kind of, community initiatives. It's actually the only option for people to eat, but also to interact. Now that I've had these experiences and met these people, I do get what's needed. And it's not some theoretical, radical lefty concept. It's basics and food.
As Jenny settles in for her final night, the reality of trying to get off welfare and into the workforce is all too apparent.
It's been a big week. It's been a really tough week. I wouldn't want to have to live on Centrelink payments. And I cannot wait to see my family and not sleep in a crusty, stuffy unit in a sleeping bag.
Jenny, Julie and Caleb's exploration into Australia's welfare system is nearing the end. The gig economy has provided some much-needed income for Caleb, as he sees how challenging it can be to get off welfare and into a job where he earns enough to live.
This morning I did my cleaning shift, for which I earned $42. So that's rent covered for the day, plus $2. So I've treated myself to half a chook for $5, which I have demolished. Probably one of the best feeds I've had all week, to be honest.
But the money he's earned is barely enough to survive. So he's hitting the streets one more time.
The most uncomfortable thing about this position is that you don't really know what's on the horizon. Something might happen, I don't know. And if you don't have money there to pay for it, well, then what do you do? But what sort of position are you in? Got about 45 minutes or so until my next shift, which is food delivery, like I did yesterday. My aim for tonight would be to make enough money to get myself a counter meal and a pint. That'd be really nice.
Caleb's logged on for the afternoon shift back in Newtown, in peak hour traffic.
Not far at all. So we're on our way. I didn't feel so safe yesterday. And when you're dicing in and out of traffic, trying to get somewhere as quickly as you can to make your delivery, like it can be pretty daunting. You're constantly, is there a car there? Is there a car there? Is there a car there? Is that going to guy open his car door on me? Like, it's a constant barrage of things you're thinking about, as well as the destination you're going to and getting the food there safe. Stephanie? Good, yourself? That's the idea. Thank you. You too. We're off to Bangkok Bites now.
For 3 days, Caleb's worked to earn just enough money to live. He's made more money than he'd receive on JobSeeker. But he's realised it's not a great long-term option.
Excellent. Thank you very much. See ya. This kind of job would probably help you get off welfare, but it's not the kind of job that is going to keep you off welfare. There you go.
Have a good night.
You too. See ya. Thank you. Enjoy. There you go. You've got some hungry mouths to feed by the looks of it. Thank you very much. So we're now up to 48 bucks, which I must say I'm pretty pleased with. 7 o'clock. I've been out there for probably an hour and 45 minutes. And I've made nearly 50 bucks, so I'm feeling pretty good about myself at the minute. So I think I might call it a day.
To end his 9-day experience on the breadline, Caleb's treating himself to a meal and a drink at the local pub.
I'll grab the fish and chips, thanks.
It's making Caleb reflect on what he's learnt.
It's not an answer to your joblessness. It's better than being on welfare, but I'd be wanting to get out of it pretty quickly. A little luxury every now and again just sort of gives you a bit of a lift. A sense that there is still hope.
For 9 days, Caleb's belief that the best form of welfare is a job has been challenged.
In very simple terms, the solution to welfare is to get a job. But the extension of that question is how easy is it to get a job? And for some people, it's very easy to get a job because they have a skill set that will allow them to find a job easily. And for other people, they're competing in a crowded market. And it's not so easy for those people to get a job. And so I suppose to say to them, well, just get a job is unfair. A lot of people, I'm sure, are trying very hard to get a job and just aren't turning one up. And so I can understand why they would turn to something like this, because it's income. It's some income. It's better than having nothing. But it's you know, it's not as simple as just get a job. I enjoy good pub feed, but I never thought I'd enjoy a pub feed this much. Oh. It's been a bit of a culture shock, I think.
Could you survive on the breadline? It's a question that's led Jenny Leong, Julie Goodwin and Caleb Bond on a journey.
I would imagine for lots of people, seeing this will be a shock because they assume that if you get government support, that's going to support you. But when you're trying to survive on the breadline, you feel like you're excluded. You feel like you're separate from everyone and you don't belong.
And I just done $300 shop yesterday.
Yeah.
And we're broke.
This experience has certainly broadened my mind. That range between have and have not is outrageous.
they feel like they've failed, you know, and it's like, you haven't failed, you haven't got a job.
Yeah.
And it was out of their control.
Feels like the more time we spend in the house, the sicker we get.
I don't know how many politicians have met how many people living in public housing. Like, the state is a fucking bad landlord.
The system is broken. It doesn't work properly.
You're not much of a man anymore. Doesn't make you feel like a man.
I would like to think that we would have a nation where people who wanted to have a go at climbing up that ladder could give it a bloody good shot.
Morning, Ron. I've got a bit of egg for you first.
Right on the bottom lip.
So giving people a little bit more money doesn't mean they're going to be laughing harder at the establishment. That's not what it means. What it means is that you're giving them an opportunity to get out from under that financial stress, to maybe have an outfit that they can wear to job interviews, to maybe look at doing that tertiary qualification.
Come on.
Come on.
If there was one thing I could do to improve the lot of the people I have met through this journey, it would be to give them somewhere decent to live. It's not a massive ask. It's really not a massive ask.